Finally, I can be heard. How is it going, guys? It's a pleasure to be back here again. I'm Lenex, and let's talk about a next round of matches in our ESA Cup of Rainbow Six. And I'm aside with Sino. How is it going, man? What's up?
It's going great, man. It's always a great day. Yesterday, we saw a crazy matchup between Cook and Entropy, and the winner of this game will go on to go play against them. So hopefully, we're going to see an amazing matchup today. How's it going for you, Lanex?
I mean, I'm very very much excited to see what is going to happen because these two teams also they faced each other during their standing phases. We're talking about the Swiss moment of our championship, and they had a chance to clash against each other. It was a quite a battle, right? Like 3 maps out of 3 possible ones. So it was amazing to see them play. And today is not going to be different. We're going to be finding those major lines of this battle, this combat that's going to be very interesting. But we have to also remember that the teams they once they are fighting, and even if they lose, they're not totally out of the championship yet. So they still got a chance because this is a double brackets system. So there it is. We already had some definitions, and like you said, we've been having matches. Now it's time to talk about WiT versus MolotovGang, and I want to know what you're expecting here, Sino.
So I'm expecting MolotovGang to take this because of how good they both are. The Germans are very notoriously known, but MolotovGang just brings that boom that certain teams need. Now, looking at this bracket, as you said it, you cannot expect to see the end of the line for both of these teams if they do lose. But I am hoping to see such a good series to take it to map 3 because MolotovGang brings that eliteness, which has to bring that same level of eliteness to be able to take this to map 3 or take it 2-0.
Definitely. And we talking about like two teams with different paces, right? As we know, WiT, they have been faster to define the clashes and move onwards. They basically won for a 3-1 when it comes to games, all in all, series on the Swiss phase. And on the other hand, Molotov, they needed more, right? So they needed to play the full 5 games to finally lock a spot in the playoffs moment here in the championship. So it is about maybe who's going to dictate the pace, right? Who's going to set the tone early in the game, and that's what it's going to tell us who's going to be moving forward or not. We're talking about two very experienced teams, and I want to know your picks, about the amount of maps we're going to have, right? Because for me, we are expecting totally a full game here. I'm not seeing this going like through 2-0 for either side.
I mean, it really just does depend on which team has prepared the most for today. Now, you could just expect somebody to get blown out, but as we saw yesterday, most of the prediction polls were looking a little bit even for Entropy and Cook. But guess what? They took it 2-0 on a pure sweep when one team just started crumbling, and that was Cook itself. We have to start looking at map 3 and seeing how what team needs to bring it to that certain map. I think it's going to go to all 3 maps if they can take this properly. This game is going to be a beautiful game as we're looking at the social vote go from 55% to MolotovGang for 45 compared to WiT. Now, this means it'll be an even match, and this should indicate that we should go to a map 3.
Definitely. Our casters, our production team is not totally, leaning toward just one of the sides. They are totally, I would say, with even votes. So we're talking about, like you said, a very divided expectation on the potential winner of this game. And we're talking about the upper bracket quarterfinals. Fantastic moment of the championship where after a whole set, of games and goings and attempts to be the best at shape, the teams are going to be finally getting to a point where they cannot make mistakes. And we're talking about a very, very good moment. Playoffs always bring, the adrenaline to the peak. And I'm very excited to be here with you, to cast these games. And we already have the maps, right? We're talking about a very interesting series that is going to start with a chalet and going in through a skyscraper with a decided on consulate. And I want to have your pick on that.
I mean, all I can say here is it really just comes down, it all breaks down to if the teams that pick their maps can just stand on their business and win it. If WiT cannot win Chalet and they lose on their own map, it's going to make it a hell of a lot worse to play on the second map that isn't even theirs, especially on a map such as Skyscraper. A very complex map is very, very difficult to attack and to defend if you don't practice it a lot. It's why I cannot stress the importance of winning on a map such as Chalet. BG. MolotovGang themselves have lost 2 times to WiT in the last year, so we have to see how we need to bring this so they can bring it back and bring that comeback in to get their revenge. Monty taking the ban is something we need to see because of how broken he's been. He's going to get nerfed for the next season, but guess what? We're not in the next season yet. He needs to be taken off the board, and he is indeed.
Definitely, Monty out, Dokebi, Enazami, and Mira. That's a very classical kind of ban, and definitely the entire game is about to change, right? When it comes to the shield operators, we're talking about major updates on their dynamics, maybe getting faster, but also more exposed during the game. So that's going to be very, very thrilling to see, especially during the off-season, leaning into the next year. And we already see the picks. We're going to have interesting loadouts as well. Just mentioning to you guys, like you said, we are talking about MolotovGang having lost. They have lost Chalet twice in this very season, so it's going to be a potential red flag for them when it comes to facing MG WiT on this first map, who, on their hand, have not won Chalet. So MG WiT have not, so far so good, shown their full quality or potentials on Chalet, specifically speaking. So it's going to be quite an interesting battle, obviously with a lot of adjustments during the rounds, and we're going to see MG WiT starting on the defensive side of things and Molotov attacking, obviously. Let's see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you. As we are going to slowly move on to this attacking phase, we need to prioritize these picks. Now, 6th pick doesn't belong anymore, but it only exists for these attackers, and we're seeing all 4 of them get utilized. We're going to see a Gridlock, a Buck, a Deimos, and an Ace being subbed in to be able to be used for this first attacking round. Now, I cannot stress how important it is for WiT to take this first round on defense, because they need to come in, and they need to come in guns ablaze, because once they do, they show that they're here to play and they're here not to lose, and that's the most important thing for a game such as Rainbow Six Siege. You come to this level of competitiveness, you need to come ready and come to play. The first shock drone does just scavenge site. Brava being on the board, very surprising she didn't get banned, but this first shock drone will get shot out, and we need to just expect them to burn utility for these first 2 minutes before they want to go for an execute.
Definitely, like you phrased very well. We're talking about their very interesting breaching power on the hands of MolotovGang. Let's see if that's going to help them to totally understand where the players of MG WiT are positioned now. On the side of MG WiT, a little bit of the slow punishment kind of combo in the hands of Goyo and also Legion, but Miluzi, we're talking about a potentially strong set of protecting sub-roams and not allowing and MolotovGang players to move or to roam so comfortably, but just like that, we already have some bullets rolling, and Aina taking insane. This is a 3v4 now on the hands of Molotov, who have the upper hand. They get the better numbers when it comes to man alive. They're gonna be playing this now more slowly. Let's see if that's gonna be the case, because Vario takes Brunks down. Brunks is already dead in this first round. Shinji and Fasi, the back of man alive on the side of MG WiT.
What a shot, man. It's absolute beauty for the attackers and absolute mayhem for the defenders. What is this Warden doing? Shinji goes down to the hands of Ina. Why would you walk into the track stingers if you know he's sitting close, and he does fall to a 4v1 scenario? And me's talking about how important it is to win on defense. Can't be stressed enough, and guess what? They're stressing now because it's a 3v1 situation. I don't like to use the word impossible, but impossible it looks here, folks. This doesn't look too well for Vasias. He's just getting pinched by the frags, the guns, the person sitting on piano. And guess what? Variax is here to give them the first round, and MolotovGang take it on attack.
Oh yeah, like you said, yeah, they knew from the first moments what he wanted to do, and that's what we have seen as an execution. So it was a very good effort from the 5 players to already breach in and find this 1-0 against MG WiT. Now, putting MG WiT in a very hard position, as they're going to have to make some changes around, as we see already a Virgil and also an Aruni coming up. I guess the Fenrir was not also on the first round. Let's see how that's going to go for them, if they're going to be able to, use better the time and obviously deny more looking at MolotovGang,
Yeah, I agree with this. Competitively, they need to bring those right operators if they want to bring their first rounds into the building. And guess what? They came guns a-blazing. MolotovGang playing on their opponent's map, and they won that first round. That's a massive statement to be bringing. And as I was speaking before in the press phase, bringing that Brava is absolutely critical to counter all of the utility that can be brought to a map such as Chalet. You have Legion. Can't counter that with Brava, but guess what? There's that Aruni, and there's those F-naps from the Fenrir that you can just hack and take to absolutely punish those defenders for not taking out those clutch drones or bringing a mute in that case. Now, no shield ops for these attacks, but it is going to be a pain to deal with all of this utility, such as the track stingers coming from Gridlock, or these 2 drones from Brava and the 2 drones Shocks from Twitch.
It caught my attention as well, alongside with everything you analyze with us, that they actually have changed from a Buck now to an Ash, and also bringing the Brava, so they didn't feel potentially the necessity of a very strong vertical work since the round 1 to this one, and that's how comfortable they are on also bringing the Brava and using, you know, the intel collecting kind of operator that actually lives inside of Brava. As we know, as we see already, Vasi brought to the ground. We have also Ishii taking Gaudis. There was a nice combat on the stairs, just taking Ishii down. It's a 4v3 again, and MolotovGang, they're doing a fantastic job in the attacking side of things, now holding the man, and also, you know, pacing things out and making WiT a little bit uncomfortable as far as we see them. Nice pick by Vario. That was a smart one. It was a deadly one, to be honest. And again, WiT at a very, very tough spot.
I don't know why these defenders just insist on getting very aggressive in blue, and they did it last time bottom solar, and they paid the price dearly both times. Now, we already seen Variax get punished after punishing the first person. He's just going to be sitting on piano, relaxing, because he has nothing more to do. He caught the Legion, he took him out with the goo mines in his pocket, forcing this Vigil to come back to site to assist the Aruni, because a 1v4 on site is no bueno and no bueno at all. The first Volcan canister does get popped off of piano window to stop them just from hopping in, and the Aruni and the Vigil need to scramble to find out how to hold all 4 attackers at bay. Ace is still holding 1 Selma in the pocket. They have all of the smokes except for the one used earlier in the round, and Twitch is using her shock drones now to just look for utility. Drones in a minute left. It's like an attacker's paradise. You have so much utility, you have so much time, and you have man advantage. What more could you ask for? If they sell this round, there is no better term than they just deserved it. So the first drone locates the Vigil, he shoots out the drone. 50 seconds left on the clock, they're just waiting for the action to come down. You have Aruni all the way backed up in master bedroom watching K9, and Vigil getting very aggressive, but guess what? High risk, no reward, and the round is slightly ended again. Another kill from Piano by Variax to give them the second attacking round.
Fantastic start, right, by MolotovGang. Definitely, you know, accelerating the movements and actions whenever it suits them. I like how, you know, they pose themselves as the stronger side so far here, attacking and showing definitely that they have adjusted. They have improved a lot their teamwork inside of Chalet, coming from those defeats that we previously mentioned here, to making a, you know, a very, very good start, and especially an early statement against WiT, as in like, hey guys, you know, we know also how to resist to the late seconds of the round. And I would mention this Gridlock, fantastic also pick on the side of Molotov, always alive until the end. So far, Molotov they have not felt, right, the damage coming from WiT. And as we have just seen, WiT adjusting and changing the operators once more. Now going for a fully different loadout of them, you know, from the last round to this one. Let's see if that Warden is going to be able, for example, to bring the deployable shield, you know, and protect and have a line of sight. But not only him, all the other operators are going to have a crucial, you know, role here to keep WiT alive in this defensive side.
I mean, Mira not surviving this ban phase is absolutely crucial for holding those first floor sites. It's absolutely critical. And these attackers, they're again just relaxed. They have 2 rounds up on attack on a map such as Chalet, a very defensive heavy map. All they have to do is hold on to the lead by taking these first floors on a sweep, because if they're managed to do that, they're going to be completely fine. Most people do like to frown upon going upstairs on the very top floor and on that basement floor. If these defenders get their foot in the door by winning this mid-floor bar hold, they might be able to get back on that comeback. But that is a very big if indeed, because they don't have a Mira and they don't have any Wamais or ADSs to deny those shields getting absolutely fried by utility. So we just have to keep questioning the decider picks from WiT and what they're trying to do with their operator picks. And as I speak, just takes off his Hassan's head off his body and he goes 6 feet under. And we are already looking at a deficit for those defenders.
Yeah, the resistance again. Resistance is not on the order here for WiT, losing guys so fast, and all of them at this point, you know, with a very, very not looking good kind of KD. Let's talk about that after too, because now Vasi just responds and brings Aine to the ground. It's a 4v4 all man alive, and I was gonna mention, Stino, from the last rounds. Aroni doing such a good job on protecting those rooms. Obviously, a very mostly frequently picked operator for here for locking those windows up, and we see Vario again being a a key player for Molotov, taking down one more on the other side for V3. It looks like repetition from the last rounds, doesn't it?
Yes, it does to me, because all he's doing, Varix, just sits on the windows, gets those utility in it, and just starts frying everything. He gets his attackers to get that first foot in the door, get down that first defensive barrier, that first barrier that you cannot deal with. You see people with C4s, very easy kills for the Warden. They have a Falcon cam. The attackers are completely unaware, but guess what? Goldie's the Frenchman himself, punishes one, almost punishes the second, but just is there to finish off the kill. Barely avoiding the frost map. Poor placement there. If it was placed a little better, it would have punished him. 8 HP. Brava gets taken out, make that 0 HP. vods takes out one to make it a 1v3 situation. Again, the defenders just get pushed back into sight, and he just gets shot in the back by Varix, the most patient player I've seen. He's so calm, but yet gets so many kills, and he ends off that round to make the differential even bigger for Molotov.
Molotov again doing it all he can. And I was gonna point that, you know, whenever you have like a Valkyrie, right, and you're still not able to get that information, you're still not able to predict the movements, that means trouble. It means you're gonna have to do more. You're gonna have to go for another kind of plan when it comes to defending. They are going to repeat the Valkyrie and the Frost. Let's see if they're gonna play this one better. Also, the Doc, you know, on their side, not being able to heal the guys and, you know, bring that kind of resistance that they need. But I would say they're trying their best. They're going potentially at a good road here. Also bringing Kaid and those electro claws to, you know, make it harder for Molotov, right? That's all about it as well. You know, making it tougher for the guys to attack, because so far the game's going fast.
Yeah, I agree. We said we wanted to see this go to a map 3, and all chances of this is going out the window. You're losing 3-0 on your own map. What can you say about that? You're giving them an inch, and Molotov's taking it the full mile. All they have to do is just stay on this track, stay on this reputation, stay on this path, and they're going to take this easy, no bueno 7-0, and they're going to be here to keep punishing WiT for losing and what they're not doing correctly. You have defense on Chalet on your own pick. You should be able to know what you need to do and how to adapt to attacker pushes. And speaking of adapting to attacker pushes, you're going to have to deal with a blitz. Monty's little brother,
I like it.
The biggest punishment.
I like it. I like how he excessively, you know, brings that aggressiveness to the top. Yeah, like you said, it's almost a repetition, almost a clone of Monty. And just like that, Blitz is gonna be responsible for a I would say more surprising kind of attack plan on their side. So let's see how that's gonna play out. Again, that gridlock always repeated. They love the ace. They love Twitch. So some choices from Molotov are looking comfortable. They're not, you know, being punished or brought to the light of, let's think about that again, let's change things around. No, they do not need to do that. And Molotov having the info and just waiting for the chance again, you know, to get out of the cover and attack MG with quality.
I mean, I completely agree with this quality pushes because they know how to get in the building and they know how to execute. Blitz has been located by Banks, but all he has to do is push back, relax, and wait for those attackers to get with him, because once you have a Blitz with an AR behind him, it's confirmed kills. It's confirmed mayhem all the way over there, because we're looking at the defense setup, and all of their plays, if it was a sandwich, it'd just have no bread. All of these setups are absolutely not adjusted. Nothing is adapting to how these attackers play. You have Varix always playing on these windows. You have to expect it for the third time. Ben is repositioning to top solar here. He knows there's somebody droning, but he doesn't know exactly where. But both teams need to do something, and guess what? SN's here to give the first pick finally to MG WiT with a C4. Blitz instantly responding onto Shinji, and Solar Take is now completely no more.
That was a good one, wasn't it? Getting close and doing it. But just like that, MG WiT is trying to respond. Ainet takes Binks down. We're talking about a 3v2 down again. Vasi. And now the last man alive is going to be his son versus 3. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. Coming from below and having that information already at, obviously, the bomb site to see what is going to happen. But Godis was the last man to make it happen. Fantastic acquisition, wasn't it? This is the kind of blitz you want, obviously, you know, to bring a lot of rounds whenever you're like feeling the power, and that's what is happening now to Molotov. 4-0, it's a fantastic, first half of a map.
I mean, Mr. World Cup himself, he's just grabbing Blitz, getting in the building, and taking out 3 of you with his pistol. He only used 1 of those flashes, and he managed to kill 3 of you.
Yep.
You guys need to call a tactical timeout because you cannot afford going down 7-0 on your own map. We look at 2 more rounds before we go onto the defender-attacker switch. Hopefully, they're better on attack than they are on defense because this is just absolute robbery in broad daylight. Your captain needs to take charge. He needs to call what's wrong. Bounks needs to call his timeout because they need to know what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right, which seems to be absolutely nothing right now. MolotovGang's punishing them at every single step for not bringing certain operators, and now we're looking at a very, very denial-heavy, eccentric roster. We're seeing the Goyo, we're seeing the Fenrir, we're seeing the denial from Bandit, and we have the intel coming from the Bulletproof camera from Legion and Valkyrie's 3 cameras. These black guys are very hard to locate, especially with no IQ, but guess what? As I say that, the IQ is brought, so these attackers might get punished. You just have to see how we need to see this play out.
Yeah, so things looking potentially better for MG when it comes to, like you said, protecting, denial, and getting the information. Let's see how Molotov are gonna be playing this one. And interesting fact, we also have to remember that previously, when these two teams faced each other, they had a different story to tell. Molotov needed to go to the second map to finally win, and that's how they pushed MG to needing a third map. Now, MG is starting differently, like I said, losing this one, and it's not looking good for them. They're gonna have to, again, keep changing things around. Let's see if that's gonna play out. Just takes Ish down at the first moment. We're talking about an unfavorable round so far for MG WiT. Rotations happening, and Shinji is down here. Also taking a look to see if someone's gonna pass over there, and it's gonna offer him a nice pick. It's a 5 response coming. Bunkus taking just, and Vessi is gonna take a look at this window.
You cannot afford to be dying to Claymores and have your buddy refrag you with a C4. I say that was a fluke kill because he was known by that black guy exactly where he was sitting, top blue sitting, all the way tucked over in billiards, but you cannot be affording to die to Claymores when you're down 4 rounds. But we're seeing 2 defenders come up together. One goes down, Varai takes 1. Can he take the second? He's just gonna relax because, again, you have nothing better to do. We've seen WiT do better. They need to start doing better. They've won against this team in the past. Can they replicate it and do it again? Federer sitting top of piano, tucked in, waiting for that ladder walk-up, but something he's unaware of. He has attackers at every single doorstep of his. You have 1 on the highway windows. You have 1 clamping down from K9, and the drones are swarming to find him. Holding upstairs is a fluke, and you need to do good on it, or else you're going to crumble like this indeed. You have 1 sitting in kitchen trying to watch those main stairs walk up, and whoever reacts first is going to have the confirmed kill, but I don't think the confirmed kill is going to matter much, as it's going to be a 1v3 if Goldies does get finished, which he does indeed. Almost a 1v2, but guess what? Ina is here to play, and it is now 5-0 on the lead.
5-0, I'm gonna tell you, with Vario on a 10-0 as a KD. So this guy has killed 10 times. He has not fallen down so far in 5 rounds. That's amazing as an individual stat. And on the side of MG WiT, we have also to phrase that, you know, Vasi, Ish, these guys are trying, right? They're the best when it comes to numbers, having more balanced or something closer to being balanced when it comes to killing and not dying and all. But, like, you know, they're not enough. Obviously, it's a collective game, so MG WiT as a whole is not working so well on those final decisions. MolotovGang also are killing more. So this is something we have seen all over the season. Some players trying to bring the action, bring the energy again, trying to bring the team back on track, but it's not always possible. The other side is already rolling and smashing. That's precisely the case of MolotovGang now, not wanting to offer any room for MG WiT when it comes to getting back to actions, you know.
I completely agree with you here. Since it's the Christmas season, let's use the snowball method. Once you get that snowball forming, there's no stopping it. You've let them get 5 rounds on you with all of this momentum. What are you going to do to stop it? Some captains say the first stage is stopping them at halftime by calling a timeout to see what do we need to do, how do we need to do it, and when do we need to execute. But guess what? They haven't prioritized this call yet, and it's something that they're getting punished for. The 5-0 lead, I've never seen anybody come back from a 5-0 lead and reverse sweep instantaneously. It could happen. There's no saying, there's no impossibility of this. Yeah. But Pulse is already locating 2 people. He might be able to punish one if he just runs out, but we got to see here. He's trying to C4. He doesn't know they're outside.
Ooh. Oh, let's see what is going to happen. Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting. Not a very, very usual kind of operator, but Pulse, yeah, being well used. Let's see if he's gonna. Oh, so the team is already capitalizing on that, and just like that, we have Gotis down, just also going down. Bunkis, finding his momentum and killing more and being more of a participant, being a protagonist actually on the side of his team. So 5-3 is everything MG wanted.
I mean, yeah, completely. The tides finally look like they're shifting here. It's 5-0. If they can get that one round before they switch, maybe, I'm not going to say it's a foot in the door. Maybe it's that little finger in the door that might allow them to bring that comeback in. Because if they allow themselves to throw this lead, I can say there's absolutely no way they're coming back from it. And as I say that, Ina punishes one, takes out Bunks. It's now a 4v3. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. 2 defenders are clocked out. Now it's a 4v2. Ishak evens out on taking out Jouet's head. And now they're looking to get aggressive on the side. Ace has walked in, and it doesn't matter. 2 bodies drop at the same time simultaneously, and it is now 5-1 before we switch on to attacker-defender switch.
Multitasking helping a lot on the side of MG WiT for their first round finally. So yeah, finally saying, hey, we are alive. We're gonna try do things different now, especially after the change on sides. So we're talking about an attacking MG WiT who are gonna have the chance of also showing their aggressiveness, just like Molotov did on the first half of the map. So Chalet first map, now potentially having a different story. Let's see if that's gonna happen. Let's see if that's gonna be the case, because even so, Molotov are closer, way closer, as we see obviously from the victory and from a nice opening in the series as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. This map, very, very complex. It's very small compared to maps such as Cafe, Clubhouse, but it still has the 3 floors, the sandwich that you can use to be able to prioritize as a defender. You have hatches you can break and just toss up C4s later in the round. You have verticality you can use by using the 3rd floor bedroom when they are going this mid floor. Now, as the mid floor is the first pick for MolotovGang, I mean, we could just see them absolutely run them on defense, because this is what most pro league teams do want to do. They don't like the upstairs site. They don't like the downstairs site. They either like bar or kitchen, and we're going to see them run kitchen. They don't have a Mira, but a lot of teams like to adjust to this by being able to use their C4s and utility while having all of the vert and denying the attackers on that top floor.
Absolutely. On the side of MG WiT, it calls me attention. Also the presence of a ram. Let's see how loud that ram's gonna be, or if it's just gonna be a distraction. Also a thermite. So a lot of breaking loud kind of power on the hands of MG WiT to attack this one. Also bringing obviously the gridlock. We're gonna see how they're gonna be playing this. A little bit of a pick by Bunks, who has been a force in the team, and the team itself as a whole has adjusted on the damage side of things. The last round showed us a potential, gave us a hope. If you're actually a fan of MG WiT, you would be like, okay, this could be a change of a history against MolotovGang, who are looking very, very solid and almost repeating a lot of those picks that MG WiT they brought themselves on the first half, right?
Yes, I completely agree. I mean, you need to talk about this roamers. And as you mentioned before, is he going to be a distraction, or is he going to be that force on looking for the flank? But flank no more, as he's already been located by this Brava. He's been called out that he's roaming near billiards in games, but that last impact, it's so important. And Vigil shows us why he needs to keep his utility in the pocket, because he just made a swift escape through that connector room and got out through the basement stairs and will rotate up through blue halls. All he's going to do is play denial. As long as he's not located, the defenders have that little glimpse of hope for a late round flank. But this is like a game of cat and mouse. Vigil just runs around. It's Tom and Jerry. You need to find this Vigil before you see your picks go down. And as I say that, Ishak does go down. And this is the reason why you need to clear, you need to play properly, and you need to get things done.
One man down on the hands of MG WiT. MolotovGang taking at their time. Also, it was a slow start, let's say more tactical, and of course getting information. And now we're gonna go more into an action kind of phases. Ishan taking a look, nice elbow angle. Let's see what Aina is gonna be able to do. 5-1 so far. Molotov being the force, being the protagonists on the first map. As we see a little bit of Monks trying to get information, he takes Jouet down. Nice pick by him. That was a surprise one. That was smart. And we see also Vasi trying to come here and blow up that wall to have the information. It's going to be up to Aine protecting this one well. He's rotating, having a lot of those lines of information, which is pretty cool. Let's see how that's going to end up. It's a pretty even round, right, Tino, so far?
Yeah, 100%. This is the most even round we've seen. It's finally gotten down to those last 15 seconds of theirs. You have all of these defenders and all these attackers up. One missing from each side. Varix takes out Bunks, and now they're just relaxed. They need to swarm for sight. It's a 2v4. Goldies get the double kill. Shinji taking damage from the vert. All the defenders are drowning. It's a 1v3. It's a 1v2, and the defenders take it on the time. It could have been good if the Gridlock just had one more second. But look at this Valk playing the time, such as those professionals do, showing us the next level of competitiveness, giving them that 1-6 lead. This is a blowout. It's a one and done, ladies and gentlemen.
Molotov keeping their pace, keeping the control over the series and the map especially. Even to this point, like you said, a match point on their hands, and they're definitely going to seize this one, right? They're not going to just let it go, and MG with potentially reversing all the way along into overtime and just stuff like that. I would say Molotov gonna kind of try the same ways. Also bringing a Clash now and Akaid, so it's gonna be great to see them fighting this one again. MG with not there yet, right? I mean, they definitely won and are gonna be able to wake up more in the second map, as this one looks pretty much defined. Molotov being, you know, very, very consistent since the start, so I like to see how they're playing this one. And MG with, yeah, let's see what you guys can do to survive to this one yet.
I'd like to see what they're doing over here. This defender side is a little weirdly set up. We saw all of those walls in the offices get reinforced. K's not running a TCSG. He's not even running the scope pistol. Revolver does make sense in terms of close range battles, but not running that TC, you lose on the critical aspect of a shotgun that can destruct, make rotates, and pack a punch with an ACOG slapped on top of it. The Clash, another interesting pick. You're up 5 rounds. Why do you need to bring a Clash? They want to seal this. They want to make it one and done. And a lot of vert players being brought, a lot of soft breach being made, with 5 breaches from Ash, 2 of them being her projectiles and 3 of them being the physical put downs. But she has a ram alongside with her, which also doesn't make sense to me, unless she just wants to burn a lot of barbed wire. But I mean, to each their own when it comes to attacking picks. You have a Lion, and you have most of these defenders in sight, except for this Frost all the way roaming bottom blue.
Definitely, yes. Molotov searching for a close here for a Rob, like you said, a Clash at the last second. And let's see how MG WiT are going to be doing this one. A lot of reaching power. Let's see how they're going to attack. Also, the pace they're going to be bringing to the table. If they're going to be able to catch and get Molotov out of surprise, it's still obviously a pretty much 5v5 round, no one down. And we see a little bit of ANET trying to rotate and move more. It's good to see. It's going to be good to see actually how they're maneuvering this operator. Let's see if ANET is going to be able to do a good job. He already has the information and also falls back into a cover. So it's potentially going to be a longer round. Let's see if that's going to be the case. Grenade out. Let's see how ESA is going to be playing this one. Going for a potential pick. Trying to shoot, trying to aim. And Gold is taking Ashka down. This is going to be cool for Molotov. They already take one of MG WiT's players.
The Frenchman Goldie himself just shows us why he's here to play. In a map full of Germans, he's landing shots, just as landing shots. It's absolutely beautiful, but Banks is here to refrag right next to ESA and giving them that differential. But guess what? That differential is no longer as Varix lands that shot to make it a 2v3. This Clash is doing a beautiful job of just delaying time. These attackers have been held at bay to the last minute. Every round, which has just been 2 rounds, but every round is something very impressive. The jammer prevents that ram from going through the window and breaking that castle. And as we speak of the castle, he lands a headshot and he gets the kill to make it a 3v1. Are we seeing the end of this map, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, it's gonna be it, because it's gonna be very, very tough and eventually impossible for Shinji to change this story. Versus 3 players on the side of Molotov. It's looking like a rubber of a map, like you said, totally countered, not able to make a difference now, and just finishes him off for a first map on the hands of MolotovGang. 1-0. What a work, what a job. Fantastic from the first round to the end. A very, very much one-sided kind of chalet, and they are the winners here, you know.
How you lose your own map is all I can say to you, Lennox. You had to stick a fork in that one. It's all done. That's history. Losing on your own map 7-1 has to be studied. As a prestigious team, you cannot be losing maps like this on such an insane differential. It's absolutely insane, and it needs to be better from here on out. We need to see these teams talk in their timeouts. They need to use their time properly, because if they don't talk on what they need to do and what they don't need to do, we're going to see a similar blowout on Skyscraper, where it's MVG's home map, their home field, their leveling playing field, and they're going to level WiT if they do not lock in now.
Well, after this first map with its story, that was totally written on the first half majorly by MolotovGang, we're gonna head into quick breaks, and we're gonna be back soon for the second map, which is gonna be Skyscraper. Stay with us. We're back, guys, with another round again of our very ESA Rainbow Six Cup, and I am Lennox. I'm alongside my friend Sino. How is it going, Sino? Man, what a blast, right? It was a massive first map, especially on the side of MolotovGang.
I mean, it's just a crazy matchup. It's something we completely didn't expect. We were talking at the beginning of this game about taking this to a map 3. They're going on their own home turf, Skyscraper, up a map 7-1. They're probably ecstatic about taking a map at this big a differential. They're probably hyped. I can only imagine the comms going between each team, the difference of emotions. But, I mean, it's something we didn't expect. It's something the viewers didn't expect, as the poll was showing almost even showing by our producers as well. We need to see something that is better from WiT. They need to hold on. They need to bring this to a map 3. They need to do something. They need to make a miracle happen, or walk on water, as some like to say.
Definitely. It's going to be up to them to also respond, like you said, and provoke a third map, since it's been tough for them to, get inside of the map and find the right pace to face MolotovGang. We have said before, both teams have faced each other during the Swiss phase, and it was better for MG WiT, but now it seems they're shaky on his playoffs at this point. Try to obviously get better and improve their own gameplay level here, aiming towards the next phases of the championship. And just like that, we're going to go into the banning phase of our second map. So let's go for Skyscraper. A much different scenario, right? So, the vertical work, obviously, being as crucial as ever. So let's see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, this map has 2 floors. It doesn't have that 3rd floor that allows that insane amount of verticality. But the thing compared to all of these other maps is almost all of this side is soft. You bring a shotgun, you bring a breach charge, you are guaranteed safe haven. And Mira does need to get taken off the board, because she can reshape how this map works alongside with a zombie if they both survive the ban phase.
Yes, we're seeing out of the considerations now. Let's see which operators are not going to be able to be used and picked by the teams, and we're going to be moving forward from that on. It's going to be a very interesting map. We have to phrase that MolotovGang themselves, they have won a Skyscraper so far in the championship, and on the side of MG WiT, that has not happened. So it could be maybe a surprising pick as well. Let's see how MG are going to be facing their opponents. Interestingly, Maverick not in the game, so it's not going to be a tool, right, for those burning points, and also finding those picks and pixels potentially to provoke a nice and steady attack plan. And now, just like we said, Mira out of the potential picks as well, because Mira has that kind of I would say magic, right? So, to offer you the information and to uphold the rooms.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you. She can reshape the map. She's one of those operators. It's a one-way mirror, man. You cannot be bringing that to a roster. But seeing Clash getting banned, the only shield op was Clash. That's an interesting ban. They're taking out the 2 ops from Central London. It's a little confusing ban, as Monty and Blitz both survived the ban phase, allowing any type of entry for WiT, which is maybe their knight in shining armor, that luck they need to bring this to a map 3. You have shield ops, and as I say that, Vasi instantly locks in that Monty, and we could see a beautiful first round if he does play it right.
Yes, absolutely. We would definitely, see either a Monty or a Blitz. So yeah, Monty on their hands. That's gonna be a force for MG WiT to try to attack this fast and furious against MolotovGang. Let's go. Let's hop into the first round of the second map here. So Skyscraper, guys in the chat, thank you so much for staying with us in the playoffs of ESA Cup. Rainbow Six rolling, and really being amazing here in Europe as we see these teams going towards the finals. Let's see who's gonna be doing a better job. On the side of MolotovGang, the classical kind of standard defensive setup and loadout, right? So, based on denying the areas and the spaces like we always see. Many of the picks already happened on the first map. So I think our eye is gonna be especially focused on Monty, right? Or maybe Thatcher, but that's it. Like, other than that, the teams know how to face and use those operators.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you. It's all about countering this Monty. And at the end of the day, how long can you counter him is what matters. Because if you have a Monty who's stressing in the last minutes of the round, it doesn't matter apparently, because Goldie's the Frenchman finds one already under the floor as dying with all forward terror charges off a spawn peak. That's crucial. That's critical. And that allows them to relax. They might even give up exhibition if they want to, but why would they do that if they have so much ground covered on the second floor? All they have to do is relax, get all the Kiba barriers down, get all the goo mines down, and have the Vigil hold.
Oh.
What is going on right now?
WiT
just keeps getting punished after punish, and ESA does relax a little bit, but it's absolutely to a point of no return, as their bodies are just dropping, and it's finally level, and we're only a minute in.
Yeah, someone left the game, apparently Vario with the disconnect issues. Let's see how that's going to affect the sequence of the game. But yeah, definitely a very interesting, a very exciting start on this first round. Like we saw, many of the MG WiT players falling down fast, but then the response came right after that with a Monty that is still alive. So maybe he's going to be definitely kind of a special pick, a special usage at the late seconds of this first round. We see already Geldis taking ESA down, and interestingly, Monty and Ace here to find these plays. There's a lot of those flames already preventing Monty to move forward, as we see Ishak going slowly through the stairs, potentially looking and searching for an angle, as we already have also Duet with his Frost expecting this visit. Oh, let's see how that's gonna play. Ishak moving together. They're really as a duo now, but Geldis go for a triple kill. Exciting moment for him, and that's gonna be it for Vasi. Taken down by Duet. A nice combat right there. We saw a lot of those close combats and a help from the side. And just like that, we see a first round in a very exciting way happening, but almost a repetition when it comes to the final outcome, obviously, for MolotovGang.
It's just absolutely no mercy. They want to pummel. They want to pummel fast, man. They're coming out, guns ablaze, swinging. We saw Vasi and Ishan try to push up and get that pincer from Blackstairs. They tried to get in, and they tried to get in fast, sneakily. But Monty being denied for so long, they knew he was on the general balcony. And just seeing the ace, they just generally deducted he was going to be on those stairs. And guess what? They isolated the ones. They isolated the ace. They took his head off of his body and eventually took out the Monty. They didn't need a Mira. They didn't need any special type of operator to just use their guns. They're here to play. They know how to counter the Monty. Even though he's going to keep being brought repetitively, it doesn't matter because it looks like they've adapted to bringing the Monty. And now we're going to look at the exhibition extend all the way out to Dragon, Terrace, and maybe even top drums and around that area.
And absolutely, in agreeing with you, man, come on. When you were able to counter that Monty, like Molotov just did, right? It's amazing. They show you can bring whatever you want. That's not gonna definitely define things on the round, and that's how MolotovGang they played to the end. I like how they actually moved and also, focus on that small corner, that small aisle area, attacking and obviously responding to MG attempts. So just like that, we have 1-0 here on the scoreboard for the second map. Let's see how that breaching power is gonna come on the side of MG WiT, also because they have a duck heavy. So they're gonna be, punishing, poking, and trying to find, reveal, expose the opponents to make it easier for them.
I mean, you could just appreciate the way they play. WiT does play just by the textbook. They get in the building, they get the roam clearing, and they need to do what they need to do. But something that is frowned upon is how they like to leave gaps in between their defenses and their attacks. They've gotten punished every single time, even if it's something as thin as a needle of a mistake. Molotov's there to punish them every single time. Now, we do have the Valkyrie just sitting all the way down here to play C4 from below. But Shinji does land a headshot onto Goldies, taking off this Goyo very early on in the round, leaving 4 of his Volcan canisters still down. But having this Valkyrie playing all the way downstairs in coat check might allow her to go for a C4 from below. If it lands on this Monty or the Thermite, we can kiss goodbye any type of denial. And Varix does give the call where the Dokkaebi is, and Valkyrie's completely undetected downstairs. They're just playing time right now. They're trying to keep that element of surprise here. You've lost a player. You have no roamers except for this singular Valk. Can she find that pick that your team so desperately needs?
And definitely MG with, already dealing with that Goyo, right? He was annoying for Monty on the last round to try to face him and, not being able to move so fastly. So it's not going to be an issue for MG with from now on, since they already taken a Gutties down. Let's see how the rest of the round's going to be played. We already have a Monty again on the hands of Vasi, 5v3. So MG with looking so strong. Isan taking double kill now versus MolotovGang players. The response tries to come from Just. It's going to be him and Vario, two of the strongest players so far, and especially Vario. Vario doing a lot in the first map, but he was taken down. Nice pick again. MG WiT responding and bringing the equality in a very interesting way.
It's already looking better than last game. They're already on par for their last game. They got blown out 7-1. Now we're looking at the 1-1. It's looking different. Maybe, just maybe, they have that chance. We saw Varix try to hold down Terrace with all of his might, but it eventually failed because there's nothing you can do when you're in a 4v2 situation with no C4s in the pocket and you're versing a Monty that's almost nearing full or above half HP. There's not much damage you can do. We're not in the next season. You cannot counter a Monty unless you bring Oryx or trap ops that can deny him, or you just generally know how to deny him. He's an absolute powerhouse. He gets the first door, and he just gets through. He breaches everything he sees. He gets in the building. He gets all of these executes down and perfect, better than they already are without a Monty. Now, we're going to see the same exact site get set up, but something we need to see that's different is how they want to adjust to having this Monty. We thought this Valk was going to land a perfect C4, but this time we're going to see no C4s at all from the defenders, which could be a big price to pay. No castle upstairs for Terrace as well to extend, makes them pay even more, which we're going to see the defenders struggle. Hopefully they can just win on gunfights.
Yeah, so when it comes to bringing gunfights to the topic of conversations, definitely. MG WiT doing a better job on the fighting side of things. Also, almost repeating their loadout, their choices from the last round, because apparently they have found their way of facing MolotovGang, right? It's always specific. It doesn't matter much what you have planned. You have to talk to your opponent during the map itself. So I like to see those repetitions. Goat is now responding immediately to whatever happened negatively on the last round. He's standing, and he's standing strong. You're gonna see Vasi again with the Monty, but MG with one man down. Now it's not gonna be possible for Ishak to play this one. They're gonna be trying to maybe change things back again. They were like slower on the second round, like we saw, right? So they were playing a slower card, and that helps them a lot.
Yeah, 100%. If you do have knowledge on how these guys play, they know how to utilize Thermite. As we saw here, he put his exothermic charge all the way outside to be able to connect with that second wall into drums, risking no denial at all. Now, bringing a Vigil is just absolutely beautiful just because of his ability to scour the map, and also because he brings that Boss G. You collect one bullet to his toe, his chest, his face. It's an instant down or a headshot to take him out completely if he's not a 3 armor. It's a beautiful pick. He got that pick under the gridlock. He didn't get the chance to put any of her track stingers down, and that's something the defenders need to just prioritize on and relax. We're seeing bodies get absolutely hit up with damage. The amount of Volcan canisters are beautiful. Monty's getting tagged, Thermite's getting tagged, Dokkaebi's getting tagged alongside with the IQ. It's a full drums terrace take, and they're struggling to get past the first line. If one player decides to go for a long-term flank, they won't be able to do anything. The frag almost claims the life of this Frost, but guess what? She just needs to sit in a corner and wait. They don't have utility to be able to clear anything when you have Volcans everywhere. You don't have the utility to be able to watch a flank watch. You don't have a gridlock. You don't have a Nomad. What can they do when you're down a body with a minute left? Another Bossy shot connects with the IQ, taking her down to 50 HP, and these attackers look like they have a point of no return.
It's going to be almost irreversible indeed for MG WiT. Just 2 players and a half, let's put it this way, right? 15 points of alive for IQ. It's going to be completely tough for him to play this one. And MolotovGang again, knowing how to deny and attacking nicely now with a double kill in the hands of Goaties. There was a nice play by him. Only bunkers to face 4 players on the side of MolotovGang. He goes for it. There was a bold movement. Nice pick. Taken down by Just. Their response came right after. And MolotovGang holding it tight and strong in the end. The team is definitely very, very much collective here. And they go forward, for a 2-1.
I think something we can critique here, or something we can adore actually, is just how well Molotov plays together. It's not the term of WiT struggling to play together, it's just how coordinated Molotov is, and they just know exactly when they want to do it, when, how, where, when. The 5 Ws are always checked off by this team because they know when to do it, how to do it, because we've seen them defend this site. We saw them struggle with the Monty in the next round. They capitalized it and almost won it on a 4-1 advantage. Somebody baited for a kill, they went down instantly. They got punished for trying to swing wide with 20 seconds left on the clock, but they adapted to this Monty, and they just pinched him with the Goyos and allowed him to just get all the time wasted with the amount of impacts they threw at his face.
Absolutely. The Monty, being, I would say, kind of unstable, oscillating at least, right? Oscillating when it comes to his usage by WiT, but they're not giving up on this operator. As we know, it's very versatile, brings a lot of resources, not only the powerful shield kind of play, but also a lot more than that. So obviously it's going to be a repetitive and repeated pick for them moving forward from now on. 2-1 for MolotovGang. It's a very exciting game and definitely more open, more even than the first map. MolotovGang now trying to change around also for an Azami. Let's see how that protection is gonna roll on their side. They are actually studying WiT, right? Because WiT, they're like changing the pace, attacking fast and then slowly, and also trying to understand Molotov. Now it's a four-man stack here at this point, at this side of the map. Let's see how that's gonna play out. Totally relying upon the capacity of Monty to resist.
100%. You just couldn't have said it better. They're going for a full swarm onto Exhibition. They have almost all players pushing Exhibition because they know when they got punished last round, when they went T-Room, they didn't clear it fast enough. They fell to spawn peaks. They fell to dirty angles. They fell to dirty corners. Now, something about Exhibition, once you extend out of it when your original site is T-Room, is there's so much distance in between the sites that if the attackers can't get past Exhibition within the first minute and a half, you're going to struggle to get that execute going, especially when all 5 defenders are up. They have their utility, and they need to relax. Speaking of utility, Azami has 3 Kiba barriers, and she's giving it to the Vigil, and Isan goes down to the hands of Just, while Lamonti gets affected by the Goo Mine. It's absolutely horrible. There's no worse circumstance than losing bodies on a map such as Skyscraper and just getting punished for it at every single turn.
And again, on that note, MolotovGang not needing to change much their plans. Just obviously alternating from one up to the other one, but that's it. The major plan is there. They're massively taking this advantage now. 2-1 on their defensive side. Let's take a look at Aine. Taking a look also what else he can do. Obviously protecting and closing more of the area. We see a little bit of smoke work. And now, obviously, Box trying to also have a chance to have a look to try to create something, right? Because WiT, they need to be creative. They need to get more aggressive now. As we see Jouet also protecting, it's going to be tough for WiT now with 1 man now. And also, Fassi already beaten. He gets traded out, not able to face Aine.
I mean, this is just a catastrophe for the attackers. They're struggling at every turn. And as we say that, even more bodies are dropping. It's absolutely horrible for them, man. You cannot go down this many rounds. If they manage to lose 2 more, we could say it's wraps, it's done, there's nothing to do. We saw the lack of covering that Monty, allowing him to get affected by Smoke's toxic babes and all of the impacts in the Goo Mines that were thrown at him. And causing him to go down, losing your Monty with 17 seconds to look at, and you haven't checked your corners, you pre-fired the wrong corner, and you're just getting triple teamed by all of the attackers. And that is the first flawless round we've had in this series, and it's absolutely beautiful from how they're playing. The cohesion is just beautiful from Molotov. There's nothing more you can ask for.
This is absolutely crazy, right? How Molotov are taking those chances of, like you said, wrapping it all on the second bullets. So WiT, they're not having a chance of repicking, for example, or readjusting, regrouping after a first line of combat. And that's how they lost their first push, depending, relying on Monty, like I said before. And that's precisely why they're not bringing anything like that for now. They're like, all right, we're done with this guy. He's not really helping us right here. So let's bring different choices, flowers in the hands. So cool to see WiT still believing. You got to believe and you got to make it until it happens, actually, right? Because MolotovGang, they're, like you said, they're already thinking about dinner. They don't want to be pushing this further.
Yeah, this is something that we don't like to see. Seeing teams go down this many rounds in series such as this, and Something we've seen with the kitchen site is we like to see them go through rounds with castle downstairs because they need it. They need the castle to be able to close down those windows and delay the time. Blitz is being brought now instead of Monty. Maybe it's the change they needed with those flashes, but the defenders are looking like they just brought more traps than North Korea itself. Look at how much traps they're bringing. You got a Capcan, you have a Frost, you have Goyo, you have 2 C4s and 4 impacts, one being used to the exception of the rotates, and we have the Vigil spawn peeking yet once again. You have the Mozzie, excuse me, to clear all of these drones, allowing nobody to drone out where he wants to, making it a drone disconnected land, and you have the Vigil to just evade the drones. It's absolutely beautiful roster by MVG, and they might be able to punish them without a castle or a Mira.
Definitely, yes. Not having to rely on those picks is fantastic, right? You just make yourself even more complex to be predicted by the opponent. And like you said, a lot of those trappy kind of operators. It's gonna be cool how to see how they're gonna obviously like work together and deny space. WiT has a vision. He already got the info. He was almost checking on Isan, moving with his blitz and try to, roam, find space, find positions. It's a tough round, and no one is totally on the ground so far. 3-1 for MolotovGang. MVG dominating this game from, back-to-back. MG having to come back to life, to be honest. Nothing is working for them on any capacities, on any layers of the game. And we see Goaties at this point taken down by C. Also, it's not alive anymore. It's gonna be a 4v4 final battle. Blitz coming to the first pick and just was able to take him down. Good movements. 3v3, a tough, a gruesome kind of final moments of a round here, you know.
I mean, we just saw Just get absolutely pinched. It was beautiful teamwork by the Twitch and the Blitz, but guess what? Blitz lost the gunfight when he had a pistol out. Just lost the gunfight. He won it eventually by taking out that Blitz, which wins so much utility as he died with 3 flashes in the pocket. And having a Blitz with flashes is something beautiful. The defenders take that advantage from the attackers. Oh my god, what a double kill! Beautiful headshot by Ina to get 2 kills and 50 seconds left on the board in a 3v1 situation. You know what you want to do. Twitch knows exactly what this Goyo is, but does it really matter? You have to go for sight, and just letting go at the wrong time punishes this Twitch in the corner, giving them that even bigger round differential, man. It's just horrifying for WiT, man. They need to call a team timeout. They haven't done it in 2 games. Even when they're down 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, they need to capitalize more opportunities.
Absolutely, and Aina, such a magisterial player, right? With the Frost, always an eye, always there, always being so competitive, so complete for the team. 4-1, and I really don't get why WiT is not using that pause. You know, that kind of conversational moment where you potentially try to adjust or try to cool down the expectations and the nerves, because they are clearly feeling it against MVG now, and MolotovGang. MVG looking very much solid and strong to move forwards in the championship. Obviously, it's a double brackets kind of style, so the team's gonna have more chances from now on. It's gonna keep being a fantastic run here at the playoffs of our ESA Rainbow Six European Cup.
10 seconds. I mean, yes, you do have that second chance, but do you really want to be the second chance and you can be the victor? They need to do something about it. They need to. I mean, you have to address the fact that you're just losing constant rounds off of very poor teamwork. And we're going to see a swarm lineup. Glaz alongside with the Sens, with the Thermite, with the Blitz, with the Ash. You have a Fragger, you have a Mailbox Operator, and you have the 2 that just absolutely rush and create the chaos and havoc needed in sight. For a site such as Exhibition, where you have 2 main walls, being the double on the side of Exhibition and the other one all the way by Drums and Terrace side, you need to capitalize on the pushes, because having all 5 of these operators, you can either fall to a run out, or you're going to have absolute control of site. Having your Ash to breach, no Amai to counter these charges, it's just going to be a beautiful push. Let's see if the defenders are ready for this, because if they're not, this is going to be a disaster for them.
Full man stack on the hands of MGT, with actually to try to breach in. Like you said, it's gonna be beautiful to see, and it's gonna be hard to execute with this glass. It's gonna have to be precise, actually, to be honest. And on the hands of MVG, a lot of solid efforts here to keep tough. And Isan, WiT responding, rolling, and actually facing them very straightforwardly. Aina taking change down, and Eshak is they meant to actually trade against WiT. We're talking about a 3v2. And guess who's alive in the end? Sense and Glass. vods takes Aina down 2v2. Interesting and exciting to see. Just against vods. It's gonna be Shaq versus 2. He's trying to move. He's agitated. Using those apples and using the covers to try to come in. It's gonna be only him versus 2 players on the side of Molotov. That's a Glass. He's got the damage. He's got the fire from a distance, as we know, facing Just and Variox. He's gonna go for the bullet, tries again, losing a lot of kills, losing a lot of his HP, to be honest, and the kills not coming to his side yet,
Varix just knows he needs to get those goo mines down, waste the time, get the case. That's all he needs to do. What a shot! Wow. What a shot by Ishak, but Varix just ends off the round. He knows where to position himself, where to pre-fire, and where to land those bullets. And it was a beautiful swarm by the attackers, but it just wasn't good enough. They lost that blitz, that shield op yet again. Once too early, and losing that shield operator basically puts the nail in the coffin to end off that round. You lose that shield op, you lose all elements of surprise. You had the sense, you had the Glass, get inside the building and get active, but the whole point of the Glass is to sit outside and defend the case. But that wasn't the case in that situation, because we just saw Varix and Ina deny the breach by just pre-firing and getting their traps down, and that's how they managed to do it. Seeing this defender-attacker side switch should be a shifting tide or a turning point for Molotov, but again, man, we're seeing them just absolutely pummel WiT, and it's looking a little bit like last game, 1-5 yet once again.
Absolutely. And the thing is, to summarize, considering everything we've just seen so far here at these games, honestly, WiT, they rely a lot on those fast, flashy kind of attacks, all demands together. But whenever that does not work, it is the case that MolotovGang, they just, they get stronger, they escalate. And that's how Molotov finally wrapped the rounds up. They're able to, play the longer kind of rounds because somehow they are more organized to, have that multitasking spread upon the map. And WiT, they are not able to face strongly Molotov when it comes to the bullet side of things. So it's tough for WiT, to find a slower kind of combat or battle. It's very, very much complicated for them. Also, on the top of that, depending a lot on the shield operator, has not been helping them. Let's see now with a potentially more gradual kind of loadout on their hands if they're gonna do it differently against Molotov.
I think you couldn't have worded it more perfectly. They struggle to play. They struggle to play slow. They don't know what to do when they can't do their flashy things. And WiT is going to go down again. You just said it. They try to play flashy. He just got punished. Their main roamer goes down within 45 seconds. You're getting punished at every single corner. And Azami's running the loadout from hell. She's going to have these regenerating Kivas to just keep drums held down. But losing a defending operator within the first minute just allows free reign for all of the map. We're not seeing an exhibition connection. We're not seeing any roaming all over here. We're just seeing them allow them to walk into sight. We'll have a Valk playing late round for the plant C4 in delivery, but you're going to have 3 defenders in sight. And what happens when that flashiness gets the shot, gets the shides tipped by being able to just get in the building, getting those smokes down, and just going for a smoky flash plant. They don't know what to do when they get the calls. They don't know what to do when they're under pressure. This Monty knows how to do it better than Ihsan, Shinji, or vods hopping on a shield op. They're wasting time. They're getting in the building, and they've gotten rid of all of these roamers, all of these back flanks within 2 minutes of the round.
And definitely, it's a very interesting kind of play by Goldis here, facing, showing his face, and getting back, he's going, he's moving. Ishak taking Juist and Joet down too. These guys are falling down. And you see clearly how MolotovGang, they do not rely upon just invading one point, right? They spread their man, and even so they are strong on the fire side of things. We see finally Shinji versus 2 to try to bring his team up in this occasion versus Aina and Goldis. He's gonna move, he's gonna try to change around his angles. It's gonna be tough for him though. Let's see if he's gonna be able to face, especially this Monty, so strong. Looking at his back, trying to come. That's the kind of play we're like, oh, take on your face. There was a body shot right between the eyes. A very, very much ugly to see kind of play. Beautiful on the side of Monty and terrible for the opponent. Totally brought to the elimination and to the ground. Man, 6-1 match point MolotovGang. They're like totally, placing the nails on the coffin of WiT.
Hey man, WIT or WiT in that case have only won
Wow.
2 rounds and 2 maps. They're getting punished. This Monty got 3 kills on his first time running it. You want to know how many times the Shield Ops got kills when they were running Monty? Vossi got 2 kills across 3 rounds.
Oh
That's
yeah.
something that needs to be beaten. It needs to be better. The Bandit was going for more of a flashy play. He was trying to pre-fire, do this, do that, because he didn't have a C4. But it needs to be better in the terms of being stealthy. They didn't know where he was in the 2v1 situation. If all he could do was isolate the ace, get the 1-tap onto him, or get the kill onto him, and get that 1v1 with the Monty, it would have been much better chances for WIT to take that round. But hey man, all we can say is they're struggling to find these opportunities. They're struggling to capitalize, and we're seeing the outcome of this.
Definitely, it's a very interesting outcome because, not every trick that MolotovGang tried, whenever they had to reinvent themselves, it worked pretty well. So this is a team that has a very complete kind of portfolio. I'm saying when they attack fast or when they attack slowly, they also manage to somehow surprise MG and MG they're not offering much of an adjustment, kind of gameplay here. Just like that, Ishak takes Verix down. Each round obviously upholds a different story. So let's see how MolotovGang are going to be facing their opponents with one man down.
He already got punished. Varix goes down early.
Yep.
Finally, we've seen Molotov get first pick. They've gotten first picked earlier, but they've gotten punished at every single time. They just keep getting absolutely brutally punished. Flores goes down to 16 HP. He's not up the game yet. Dokubi goes down with both calls. They try to go for a rush play, and they get punished for it. WIT just tried to almost go down to their own play. I don't know what Molotov was thinking. They tried to go for a flashy play. It didn't work out. I guess flashiness just isn't working here. Patience is a virtue in this situation, and they just need to wait, get in the building, and get things done. They know exactly what the floor is, and that 16 HP just doesn't mean anything against the full reign of Warden's SMG-12. They don't know he's down, so he gets to get up nice and ready with 4 HP extra than when he originated with. There's a minute 46 seconds left. They need to take that Gumine out before the Flores falls to it. And look at this beautiful sneaky positioning by Bang. All he has to do is just hop out and he gets the kill. But he did it too soon. He knows exactly where he is now, and they know he's isolated in sight. And he goes for the ISO in with the pistol, but Isan punishes him for trying to take it out. Stuns flying through. We might finally see the shifting tide for WIT. MolotovGang, you have a minute 20 seconds. That's the perfect amount of time, but not enough to do anything in. 1v2, you need to isolate those guns as we were talking about before. 1 minute 15 now, he's rotating all the way around the drums. Can he find the Goyo early? If he just wide swung, he would have been able to find the kill, but drone economy is the most important thing, and we're seeing almost all of the drones get shot up. There's only 3 left, and the ones that are up are affected by mute jammers. So how can we see this? How do you see this round ending, Mr. Lanex?
I see. I know, potentially doing what he's already doing, such fantastic kind of pixel control work here. Obviously not exposing himself so much, but also getting the information. He already took one, pulling it down this way, and that's gonna be easy for Ishan because he was better positioned. And there it is, MG with responding to this one, MolotovGang. Well, for the second round in a row, like not pretty much finding what they want to find, not being that kind of strong team. Here they're like falling apart, and it was a good point for MG to also rebuild their own confidence. Let's see if that's going to be enough for them to push this even further, because MVG, they have slipped on this one. I don't know if they're going to be able if they are actually, to need to change a lot on their choices to rob this one, because they did a fantastic first half of a map. So, let's see what else they need to do to defeat definitely MG WiT.
Technical timeout has been called as a player disconnects. I don't know if that was on purpose or they've just given up completely. It's a 2-6 lead. Better than last game, not by a lot though. That sliver might be something that is needed to bring into the game. We might be looking at a rehost here, ladies and gentlemen, but while they're here, they get as much time as they can take to be able to talk with them about how they need to do what they need to do to get better at this game. While we wait for this last person to load back into the game, I have one question to ask you, Lanex. How do you see this game affecting MolotovGang's confidence in general? Can they take it to the final and can they win it all, presuming they can win one round with not letting WIT bring that comeback?
I think they know what they need to do, right? So there have been, like I said, a very resourceful kind of squad, attacking well, and especially on the hands of Aina, a lot of variations. He's that kind of a player that can be creative, can get at nice spots to trade well against the opponent. So I would say both on the game plan side of things and also on the damage side, Molotov Gang looking very, very much stronger than whatever they did on the Swiss phase. I would say I would totally like vote on them now, not only because of whatever they're already doing in the second map, but also on based on the display on the first map, they were so solid, right? Attacking and defending very well. So it's a more complete roster, if you want, honestly, versus MG WiT now.
I do see it as a much better advantage. The fact that they've taken a map and the match point now in the second map, something we've seen as history doesn't repeat itself twice. They've beat them twice now. They beat them once in the qualifiers and once in the Swiss phase. Now, WiT has been punishing Molotov constantly. This is not a case where that is happening. WiT didn't allow them to get the renovations, and MolotovGang said, screw it, let's revamp our whole team. And by doing that, we're seeing a much better play quality. We're seeing much better strategies. We're seeing much better statistics on them just getting the maps and pummeling their opponent. We might see a 2-0 lead on absolute flaming disappointing scores, being 7-2 and 7-1, if that is what happens in this next upcoming round. This is something that is crucial and something that is needed to happen to rewrite your team's history.
And it's a different scenario that we're talking about, right? Interestingly, we had Clubhouse whenever they faced each other. We had Cafe Dostoyevsky, we had Consulate. Nothing of that is repeating itself. So, like you said, history does not repeat itself always, usually. And we could even have a Consulate, but it's looking extremely, tough to believe in that, right? We're looking into a Molotov Gang looking very, very solid to just finish this one off.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We've seen WiT try to get flashy because that's how they win most of their games. They hit their opponents fast and when they're not expecting it. But something MVG's been doing is they've been allowing themselves to absorb the punch from that flashiness, use their utility, and completely push them out of sight. And they've managed to do that when they're starting on attack and defense. Both flashy plays could try to help them win rounds. We saw the Vigil try to run out on the Monty to try to get them that first pick. It didn't work. Monty smacked him in the face and took him off the first person within 30 seconds of that first round when they switched. And it was something that needs to be recorded on something that needs to be looked back later, and their manager or their captain needs to let them know what do we need to do better to be able to win these types of games or win these types of rounds by playing progressionally and not just by trying to play flashy and try to play your time.
Absolutely. They are surely also learning a lot by having to face MG WiT right now, because MG WiT, they were better at the Swiss phase, right? At the standings, they had a better position. And on the other hand, Molotov Gang, they had to play themselves more. They had to show more. They had to learn more from opponents. They had obviously to play the 5 games, like I said previously, out of the potential and necessary 5 games on the first phase. So it's been quite a run for both sides. And definitely MG WiT, they're going to have to adjust if they want to get stronger after this game today, if they ever lose, right, against Molotov Gang. So it's quite a game, and Consulate would be an interesting map to see again. Would accommodate some repetition points from the previous clash they already had, but I don't know if that's gonna happen today because, again, once more, Molotov are the better side so far.
I like what you said there. If it went to Consulate, it'd be a little bit different. I would love to see a Consulate map because that map, that absolute, either the map you love or the map you hate the most and call it atrocious, pre-work or post-rework, everybody has different opinions about this map. But the one thing every player can agree on, whether you're copper, silver, or in Pro League, is it's where dreams go to die. You either see it go completely far left, far right, or directly in the middle. We can either see teams bring that to the third map to be able to try and bring back their reputation, you could say. Or we could see them try to bring that back. But again, it looks completely unlikely considering they're just absolutely taking them and swarming them on their own map and the map that they've picked. And it's just absolutely beautiful when it comes to showing what team is elite and what team is just starting to get there.
Definitely. And exploring more the time we have here, I want to also have your opinion on the operators that have been changing, okay, this entire series. So if we have to pinpoint the game changing operators here for both sides, I would start, bluntly just bringing the Monty, because he was obviously picked as a potential game-changing operator for MG WiT, but it actually came to help more MolotovGang in this occasion. And on their side, also just to toss it to you, not only Monty, but I would say a silent helping operator that we've just seen, it was Warden. Whenever Warden was brought to the table, he was very helpful. It was kind of a silent but very effective kind of operator, excuse me, for MG WiT.
Warden bringing that shotgun is an absolute beautiful denial, being able to hold those staircases, those little awkward angles you don't want to take, and he has a fully automatic secondary, and he's immune to flashes. It's an absolute beautiful all-around operator, but I mean, when you talk about those operators that they've been bringing, you can just say MolotovGang's just been defending themselves, because WiT initiated the fight by bringing that Monty in the Blitz the first and second round, and they couldn't use it. They couldn't utilize him at all. And then when MolotovGang did it, everything just crumbled for WiT. And if we're talking about those silent operators, it's talking about those operators who are behind that Monty, who have their hands on his shoulder saying, yes, we're going to support you, we're going to push you into sight, we're going to get you, and we're going to help you get the plant down. Monty is a brute force operator. He's doing beautifully at showing that, especially just from bringing this from MolotovGang. So when we see them bring that Monty, we're looking at who can play it the best, not just who can play the operator. And bringing operators like Gridlock to watch that Monty's back is something that is so underrated and something I cannot express how important it is. Because when we saw that Gridlock get spawn peaked on that first round by the Vigil on MolotovGang, we saw them crumble apart and the Monty just couldn't find his leeway to getting into that site.
Yes, and you mentioned Gridlock. It was going to be my next topic of conversation. Gridlock, also Goyo, also Frost. Some of the most interesting choices, to say the least, that both teams have been bringing to this game. Vigil not having a long life, obviously, in this game specifically. But we also saw an attempt on using like glass. So that's not something we usually see every day. But yes, it was on the hands of MG to obviously cause that damage. But it's interesting to see how the teams are also changing their choices, not only on the banning side of things, but also picking. As we know, the season on ESA Cup has moved from a persistent ban on Monty and obviously Ying and Mira into new kind of bans, and this is changing always. Today we already had, for example, a ban on Clash. Sorry, so these changes, they are the proof that the game is very rich always, right?
Yeah, 100%. You need to be bringing those types of operators if you want to deny. We've seen people bring Clash to just play that time wasting. But if we're speaking on the operators and we're questioning those picks, such as that Glaz they brought, Glaz is supposed to be that relaxed back operator who gets those smokes down, uses his thermal scope to DMR to just wait and deny the plant. But when you see a team who loves pre-firing, who loves getting their traps down, you're not going to see much progression with Glaz unless he knows when to take cover and when to predict the pre-fires. Bringing Glaz is a very 50-50 decision. You're either going to get an ace, you're either going to get 3K, or you're going to get one tapped off of the first 3 seconds you're alive. We saw smokes get used, but they left that little bit of leeway on the left side, allowing a scope and a line of angle all the way down to top house and near the drum side, allowing any defender to just swing it, pre-fire it, and just call it a day. And by doing that, they were able to do whatever they wanted. They authoritated by taking out the Glaz, by taking out anybody trying to plant, which was the Thermite in that case. They forced the Glaz to go in the building and isolate a 1v2, where eventually, I just took him off the board and gave them that round.
Guys, we're going to be back real quick, so stay with us. Take into consideration everything we just said. Take your notes, because we're going to be heading back into the second portion of this series right in some minutes. So stay with us. And we're back, lads, with the following rounds of our last potentially a map on this series. I'm Lennox, and probably I'm here casting ESA Cup again on this very opportunity of the playoff phase, along with my friend Sino. Sino, is this the last round? We do not know, right, man? It's gonna be tough to say.
I mean, we've been talking so frequently, so harsh about WiT, so analytical. Maybe this 5-minute break was what they needed. And I mean, speaking of 5-minute breaks, if you guys have a minute, make sure to follow, turn on the notifications as we stream here almost every single week for the playoffs. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that. But as we speak of the game, we're going to see a Scopos being brought for the first time this whole series. Scopos, I don't know how I feel about Scopos. I've talked to a lot of professionals. I've talked about how she's just so broken Because who thought in a tactical realism game you want to bring an operator who can teleport around the map? So I think Scopos is one of those operators that is a deal breaker for the defenders. What do you think, Lanex?
I think it's going to be a point of surprise, definitely, depending on how well MG WiT are going to be executing Scopos, but also how MVG are trained against that kind of operator, right? And on the side of that, we see the usual picks, but definitely Scopos is going to be bringing attention. It's going to be interesting to see. And on the side of MolotovGang, Zofia, usually seen as a too heavy dash slow kind of operator, but very, very important for this anti-gadget kind of work on the side of the team. So Zofia is going to be on the hands of WiT. Let's see how he's going to play it. 6-2 and MolotovGang, like I said already, wanting to think about dinner and dessert, but they still got to beat MG WiT. Let's see how that's going to go. And I provoked you previously, because the last round was taken by MG WiT, so they were the team to bring the victory, and especially, like you said, well and brilliantly, after the break, after the pause, they can potentially come differently to the rest of the game.
I completely agree with that, and seeing the rosters that are going to be versing each other, it's completely diverse and completely very, very unlike WiT to be bringing this roster, so we could see them bring it back if they keep using different rosters, catching the attacking team off guard, being MolotovGang in this situation. But seeing Zofia is kind of odd, considering he's not bringing the hard breachers that he was recently just added to, and that AR that just packs a punch. But bringing those concussions, bringing those explosives, an absolute beautiful pick of an operator. Such an all-around operator to bring, especially in a league such as prestigious as this. Now, all they have to do is waste time and wait, and they've been doing just exactly that. The first damage has been 2 ticks of the Goo Mines towards Monty, and having his shield fully extended, Ishak is just hiding behind the dragon here. Might be able to punish somebody for not droning him properly. Can we see this? Can we see their first round as that first step in the door to bringing back that comeback? Because they've been holding them at bay for 1 minute 15 seconds, something WiT has been struggling to do, playing time, and I'm pretty sure that Vigil's been located. He's on camera.
Yes. Oh, let's see. Yeah, it's with you. Just go.
Banks lands a one-tap from Hell on the quick peek and letting the Vigil run out, and he's just defending this with absolute passion. Ladies and gentlemen, is this a turning point? 2 picks for WiT as WiT instantly responds with that heavy packing 150-round LMG. The first Rotero charge does take out the bulletproof camera. C4 takes out both the camera, the drone, and the C4. Now, they need to push in. They need to push in very, very smartly. Bandit could have went down. Does he go down? No, he doesn't. Shinji with that double kill. Can they land bullets? It's absolutely falling down.
Wow.
And Banks lands a triple kill to end off that round, making it 3-6. Finally, some leeway for WiT.
Amazing by MGYT. Definitely not needing, right? Not depending totally on the Goyo. I was gonna say that because whenever you have Monty on one side, you're gonna have the Goyo to like we saw before, right? Especially in this map, to try to deny that kind of roaming movement. And okay, they lost the Goyo, but it was not enough to make them go down. And MG WiT, excuse me, managed somehow to find those spots and kill more. So 3 rounds for them. It's already a potential comeback. As we see finally a Jackal coming to the game. I was going to point that out. Like, you know, it's a very, very good operator for hunting, as we know. So he hasn't been brought to the series so far. So the Jackal on the hands of Aina, it's going to be another interesting pick to see. And you know, again, Aina changing around things and you know, showing us different picks that he can bring. So it's a very versatile player as well. Good to see Molotov trying to change and surprise MG WiT, because that's what MG WiT just did to Molotov.
I'm seeing the same thing as you're mentioning. We're just seeing surprise operators alongside the board.
Right?
That Jackal, yes, very crucial, because this map, yet although 2 floors and very compact, there is so many rooms, there's so many corners you can hide in, and bringing that Jackal is just the next essential step. But we're seeing a Pulse. We didn't see him in I think, until the first round of Chalet. Very interesting. He landed 1 C4 and he was never seen again. So Pulse being brought could be something that is beautiful, considering he has that C4 on a mostly wooden map. But all MVG have to do here is just win 1 singular round. 1 round. It doesn't seem that hard, but we're seeing a response from WiT. They're bringing it up to 3-6, and they're doing much, much better than that first map.
Absolutely. It's a different MG WiT, and now with a kind of a trap-based loadout, obviously with Capcan and Legion and others. Let's see how they're going to be playing this one to slow down MolotovGang, who are going to go for it, who are going to try to attack. They have the Dokabi, which is going to be offering that information. Also, Jacko is going to be doing the same for the entire team. So they are bringing a lot of those hunters for this round. It could be potentially the last one. MolotovGang trying to lock this one and not allow MG WiT to, grow to the occasion, find their way back into this map. Since we have seen 1-6, now 3-6, there the calls come. And let's see how MG are going to be dealing with this. The fights are almost even. Goldis takes Bessie down. So it's going to be a 5v4 on the hands of Goldis to try to go for a second one. Monsi still alive and strong. But there it is. Ishak just brings the equalizer now.
I just have a singular question. Are headsets illegal in Europe? Because how did Vasi not hear this Monty just creeping up the drum side and getting a pick? He got the drum pick, he got out, and now he's just relaxed. Taking out the Azami while she was still regenerating those Kibas is absolutely beautiful, but Variax does go down as well. So it's a 4v4. And in turn, again, they're doing beautifully at just wasting the time. And this is a first floor snipe, but WiT gets punished once. Can they get punished for the second time to find that Legion? No Rook, no Doc, nothing. Again, nobody hears the Monty creeping up, and he's just gonna fall to a pinch. It is now a 1v3 situation with Capcan upstairs. Can he find his first pick? He's aware, he's on drones, and they know where he is. No C4 in the pocket. 3 of his EDVs have been shot, as we've seen before. Ladies and gentlemen, is this the end? He falls down to the last standing Capcan. 40 seconds left. They just need to get a plant down, but the diffuser is not in hand, and the red pings are going down. Capcan getting aggressive, and he goes down. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. We call it right there.
Victory for MolotovGang. Yeah, they do it. They make it happen, even though that Capcan was almost trying to reverse things around. 7-3. Fantastic victory by Molotov, taking MG WiT down to the ground after an astonishing 7-1 on the first map. Now they make it happen again, even though they faced some level of drama, right, coming up from MG WiT, but there it is. They were able to bring it up in the end of the days, and win this one with a clean sheet, not allowing for the third map, which would be potentially tough for MG WiT, since we know that they have lost, in bigger maps and also especially in Consulate before. But there it is. This story is over, and MolotovGang, they finished this one off. That's what we have for today,
I think that was a beautiful game played by both teams, but eventually it was MolotovGang who was here to play. They got 4 combined rounds, WiT, on MolotovGang. So it's just about the level of who's here and who's all the way down here. And apparently we saw MolotovGang, ladies and gentlemen, who will now go on to verse Entropy. The prestigious Entropy. Should be an amazing game, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be great to see the follow-ups here, especially because we also have, obviously, LDL, Valor alive, and this is a team that has beaten before, not only MG WiT, but also MolotovGang, so they're still there to see what happens, to see who's going to be winning this one. MG WiT to have to face another MG team, as I see, so it's going to be a very, very nice sequence in these playoffs to see.
100%, playing against a team like Cook, who very depressingly lost yesterday 2-0. It's going to be a great game to look at the lower bracket, or the elimination bracket, as you like to call it. But focusing on that top part, we're going to see Asgard, an amazing team. If they go on through the finals, we're going to see them versus either MolotovGang or Entropy, 2 absolute beautiful teams that should give us an absolutely beautiful final to end off the season 9 of this beautiful, beautiful league, ladies and gentlemen.
It's an amazing season, and we're going to still have a lot of games, obviously, like we have said before. Every day we have a new game, a new story to tell with different castles. Obviously, it's a huge team, so stay tuned with us. Obviously, follow our ESA Cup Twitch channel. And Sino, it was a pleasure for me to be here today with you. It was a pleasure always to be with VoD and Hot Next, our production team today. So, Sino, I hope you have a nice rest and see you again very, very much soon.
Thank you so much. Everybody put W Producers in the chat, follow, and have a great, great night.